Welcome back to Just Ask Lovely. Today we're going to be talking about the COVID vaccine, and I'm willing to bet you didn't know it was created in just 2 hours on a computer. Plus, I have a little more information that I'm pretty sure most of you probably didn't know. So be sure, watch it all. Okay, so I'm going to show you a clip here, and this, of course, came from Pfizer first, and then Moderna, and then the rest followed suit. So take a look at this clip first, okay?
So we downloaded the sequences from the Chinese government, we put it into our proprietary algorithm that generates the vaccines, and in 2 hours we had the vaccine already designed and it went straight into manufacture.
So you just saw how we're talking about that they were able to make the vaccine in just a couple of hours on their computer. Well, also what aired on BioEats World, there was an episode which originally aired the day the FDA authorized the world's first mRNA vaccine for emergency use. Moderna CEO Stephanie Bancel tells the story of the machine that made the vaccine, the platform, the technology, and the moves behind the vaccine development. This episode of BioEat Worlds takes us from a world of pipettes and lab benches to a world of industrial robots making medicines. We used to grow our vaccines. Now we can print them, getting them to patients faster and more efficiently than ever before. In conversation with the 16Z general partner, George Conde, and BioEats World host Han Winarski, Bancel describes the exact moment he realized that might actually be able to make a vaccine for COVID-19. What happened next to go from pathogen to design, how this new technology that uses mRNA works, and what makes it different from old vaccines, and how to think about managing both innovation and speed in this world. Why is this such a fundamental shift in the world of drug development? And where will this technology go next? So you can see right here, not only did Pfizer, which first started it, Moderna quickly followed suit, and they are actually just printing these things out. Now, here, there's a little more. Okay, so as this interview goes on with Moderna, this is a very, very important part of the interview that was done. Creating Moderna's vaccine digitally. Jorge said a couple of things that are fascinating about this. Number one, the fact that the digital copy of the virus came from China before the biological version reached our shores. That's remarkable in and of itself. That we knew what we were dealing with, at least digitally, in a matter of days, thanks to all the advances with genomic sequencing technology. But the other remarkable advancement and technology here is what you just described. You were able to design a vaccine based on the digital version of the virus, also in a matter of days. Stefan said, "So you're right, Jorge. And this is the piece that I think most people in pharma don't appreciate yet. The power of modern technology. In 48 hours, we designed and locked down the entire chemical structure of a vaccine." Stefan went on to say, and we click order on the computer. So it all happened in silico. We never had to access a physical virus. And we designed the vaccine, and with again the two teams at NIH and Moderna, because we were so worried to make a mistake in the vaccine design, as you can imagine. So, the big thing that we can see right here is that it was designed digitally, and they didn't do any gene splicing, as a lot of, we've heard from a lot of the news media, which we know how much we can trust them these days, right? There's a little more that gets a little more intel here, and there's actually a little bit more that you haven't heard yet that's going to shock you as well. But let me read you this last bit. Okay, so the article goes on here to say, I noticed an article saying that there is a new pathogen agent in China giving pneumonia-like symptoms. That's all it says. And so I sent an email to somebody working for Tony Fauci, Barney Graham, who we've been collaborating with for years, designing several vaccines together. I said, Barney, have you seen the new pathogen in China? What is it? Is it a bacteria or is it a virus? And he replied to me a few hours later, and he says, it's not a bacteria. It seems to be a virus, but we don't know which one yet. And a day or two after, Barney sent me an email and said, hey, we learned from our contacts in China it's not flu, it's not RSV, we don't know what it is yet. And then another day goes by and he says it's a coronavirus, but it's not SARS and it's not MERS. It's a new coronavirus. Within a day or two, the sequence should be put online by the Chinese. And so on January 11th, the Chinese put the sequence online. And our team at Moderna used the sequence to design a vaccine. In parallel, Barney's team does the same thing. And when they shared notes, after around 48 hours, they had designed exactly the same vaccine. Now, this is talking about Pfizer and Moderna, and this happened as well as the other vaccine makers. So they developed their vaccine digitally, and they got the last bit that they needed from the Chinese. Well, there is a bit of another issue with that, and take a look at this clip right here.
Why has the data not been shared?
No, they didn't isolate the virus. That's the issue.
What about live animal samples?
It doesn't tell you anything if they only test positive. I do not suspect it's coming from what we originally thought.
Has the data not been shared?
No, they didn't isolate the virus. That's the issue.
So, as you can see, that interview came from NBC about a year ago, and it leaves the question, if the Chinese never isolated the virus, then what or where did they get the sequence that they put online for all these different pharmaceutical companies that have developed a vaccine? Now, I'm not saying that no one should get the vaccine or anything like that. I'm just saying I think that these are questions that should be answered. Don't you? Well, that's it for this episode of Just Us Lovely. Take a moment to subscribe. I'm just getting started, and I appreciate any and all subscribers, as well as leave me a comment and let me know what you think about this. Have you heard about this? Had you already seen that NBC episode that aired? And did you know that the vaccines were developed on the computers within just a couple hours' time, and what you think about it? I'd really like to know what everybody thinks. Thank you for being here, and be sure and watch my next episodes coming up daily.
Hi, my name is Jeff. I'm a trans-vaccinated person. This is my story.
What is a trans-vaccinated person?
A trans-vaccinated person, it's someone who was born into the wrong body. I was born into a non-vaccinated person body, and I knew at a very young age that I was meant to be a vaccinated person. So now I identify as a vaccinated person, and my preferred pronouns are vax and V.
How do you become a trans-vaccinated person?
So you don't have to go through any hormone treatments or hormone blockers, and you don't even have to take the vaccines or any booster shots. Just like how transsexuals can transform All you have to do is change your status on your government documentations, just like how you can change your gender for your birth certificate or your driver license. You can also change your status for your vaccine passport.
Why?
Нам так і по-ягому.